Okay, I'm not sure, but I think this is part 6. I think I just did part 5 or 6. I don't know. Here's another part. Buckle up, Buttercup, because this gets deep. Okay, I left off, I think, when they went to the wrestling match, and the doctor pulled up because her and Nikki was supposed to meet up there together with their kids to watch the wrestling match. Well, the doctor said when she got up there that no, it was no Nikki, it was John. And so she asked him, like, where's Nikki? And he was like, it's been a change of plans. Okay, change of plans. So that day went on, whatever. So I was okay, so I was working a day. The next day, I worked. And so I was doing feeding my residents. And I think it was like that. So dude was not only messing with the DON, he was also tapping the CNA. And the CNA had a husband, but she had. I was looking out the window. I seen her pull. They walk up to the job and jump in her truck, and she pull off with them. But then she come back. She get out the truck. She come in, but they take off in her truck, right? So, um, I go home. And I had the next 2 days off, right? So I go home, and so, well, no, I'm gonna take it back to old girl. So old girl said that when she got, they picked her up from the job to go. She dropped him and a cousin off, and she went home. So she said while she was at home, she was on the phone with dude because her husband had went to go pick the kids up from school or whatever. And she was at home, and she said she was on the phone with dude, the guy David, and because he was talking to her too. Remember, he used her truck earlier that day. And so she was talking to him, and they was chopping it up. Whatever. She said she heard a beating at her door, and she was like, "Damn, somebody! You know how we got that saying, somebody beating at our door like they the police." Well, she said that. She said, like, who the fuck is this beating at my door like the police? She said she dropped her blinds down, peeked through the blinds. She said her whole house was surrounded with police. She was like, what the fuck? So they asked, she opened up the door and they asked her who was she, and she told she was, da, 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 da. And they told her, well, hey, your truck was seen at a crime scene, was witnessed at a crime scene. Because what they did was when they came and picked up her truck, Bibber, she didn't get to that wrestling match because it had been a change of plans because the daughter called him and told him that the man keep being at the house. Well, the husband that particular next day, he was left his office early to go and pick up the children. She was at work and they had Texas because it was, I know all this stuff. I know there was text messages between him and her saying that he told her that he was leaving work, he was on his way to go pick up their son, and they were supposed to all go to counseling, meet up at the counseling office. Well, he went out to his car, baby, and that was all he went. And because here come dude and dude cousin pull up in the parking structure, get off, get out the car, get off, boom, 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 jump in the car, skid off, and get on, right? So she, the wife, Nikki, was at work, and according to the court documents, she talked to them a minute before the shooting and a minute after. But they said at work, because it's a small community, everybody talk. They said at work she got the phone call and she jumped up screaming and hollering and was like, I gotta go, something's wrong with my ex-husband. She went and picked the kids up from school and headed to the hospital. Man. And they had already went to the parking structure and did their little big one. So girl, back to old girl at the house. The police got the house at that door where that truck come. Because in that parking structure, 3 people got the license plates, and there was a security guard in the tower, and he got the license plate. So they had the license plate, just dumb and sloppy all the way around. So when they got to old girl house, they tell girl, hey, your car has been involved in a whoop-de-whoop-whoop. So old girl say, what? Whoop-de-whoop. They're like, did you let anybody use your car? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, who did y'all let use the car? She was like, such and such, David Oliveira and Amelia Sedana. Amelia and David, basically. Well, the husband on his way minding his lovely business to pick his kids up from school, and guess what? He get drawn down on by the police because, yeah, he's in that truck, and yeah, he's a Spanish guy, and the people that was described in the thing was just as such. So they got him handcuffed at down by the school. tell her, like, well, we got your husband in custody. She's like, no, my husband got nothing to do with nothing. The husband, he just befuddled and puzzled within himself. Mind you, she married. She didn't let somebody else use her married little truck. And they done committed a whole crime. They dropped a girl off at like 1 o'clock. They did the little pum at 2 o'clock. We got off at 3 o'clock. They was back there getting her retarded. Just retarded. So she said when she get down to the station, the police station, she's like, do you use that? They let you let the other truck? She was like, yeah. She said, but she heard kids just wailing, crying in the police station. She didn't know who the fucking kids they was, because they had her in an interrogation room or whatever. They was interrogating her. And so she said while she was in there at the interrogation room, her phone was ringing like crazy. And it was David. He was shit. So the detective asked her, like, why he calling your phone like that? She like, I don't know. She said, so they put the camera up, girl, and she dropped that dime. Like, that's whoop the whoop, that's whoop the whoop, 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 whoop. Because if you go and watch the movie on ID, it's called Deadly Vows. They got the footage of the whole thing. You can see how a boy got off the truck, came from around the corner, and whoop, 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 right? They got the whole video, the footage, if you look at it on ID. But if you look at it on Oxygen, which she made me do with the Emmy Hilrich story, you ain't gonna see all that. But on ID, Deadly Vows, you gonna see it all. So they did that or whatever. So they got her down at the police station, questioned her. They showed her the videotape. She said, yeah, that's them, whatever the case may be. So her and her husband can be clear, because the husband like, bitch, you better get the singing like a bird canary, because I ain't going down for you and your cheating, right? So you better sing like a canary. No, I'm just saying. I'm just only can imagine that's what I'd be like. Bitch, you better tell the motherfucking truth. It wasn't me. And so she crying or whatever. So now why they got her at the hospital with him, they done already scooped up her. She done already identified the drivers, and they asked her what ties did they have with John. And the girl didn't know who the hell John was. She was like, I don't know. She was like, I don't know any John that they know. I don't know what their connections is to him. And they was like, do you know Nikki Hilrich? She was like, yeah, she used to be our DON. And she was like, okay, so what's it? Because she knew that he was messing with her. So basically, they just buried themselves. So she told, so now they are by 5 o'clock, they was in the building, questioning everybody in line and questioning everybody, okay? Because all of them worked there. So they went to the source. That's when they found out that they was in a relationship and all that XYZ, and that her license was under investigation. She got suspended for the stuff for the medication or whatever she was doing and all that shit. So basically, they pinpoint everything that was going on, right? And who had the connections. So on the one I think both of them show her interrogation video, and I'm looking like, girl, you thought you, because she told me, she was like, I can act. And I don't know, was she trying her skills out for this day to come or what? We're pretty sure it was. Not only did she do that, a month prior to that, she went and took out $1 million life insurance policy on her husband, which is an idiot, because it takes a time for that one to mature. And plus, when I went into the court documents, because I'm nosy, I went into the court documents and I looked at her divorce money and her alimony and what she was getting for them kids. For the boy, she was getting $3,000. For the girl, she was getting $2,500. And for her, for alimony, she was getting $1,500. And she was an RN, okay? So she was papered up. And he had his own life insurance. He had over $1 million worth of life insurance on himself. That was to go to her if something was to happen to him, because they were still married but just separated. They called her his estranged wife. Okay? Now you gotta come back for part 7. And it gets deeper. So buckle up, buttercups. I'll be right back.